let's have a look at how you can start to make your collaborative Earth and Science fact comic strip. So you'll see that up here where the bell is, I've got a little red sign against it which tells me it's a notification, and it tells me that someone shared a design with me. So I can open this and all my group can work on this design all at the same time. So we need to choose a page. Who does page 1, who does page 2, and then we can start. So what I want to do is I want to start to look at that design with you. So let's show you one that I've completed first. So this is where I've done my page. So I've been given page 1 and I've done the Earth and space. Why do we have day and night? I've written on here. Now the first thing is you can make your window bigger or smaller by doing this so that you can see the space that you want to work in. So this little sliding button down here. When you look at the page, it's actually made of a number of different things. So we've got backgrounds on here, I've got characters here and here, and I've got other different objects that I've put on, like the spinning earth here. And I've also got text. So some of my text is inside speech bubbles and some of my text is in what we call a caption up here. So I've got different places for my text. So let's start to look at some of these objects one at a time. So nearly everything that I've put on here, apart from the writing, I will find under this tab at the side that says elements. So what I'm going to do is scroll down to page 2. Let's pretend that I'm starting page 2. Now you'll see that page 2 has got 6 frames and page 1 only had 4. But what I can do is, if I think that's too many for me, then what I could do is I could click on a frame and delete it by pressing backspace, and I can just drag another frame across so that I don't have as many frames to do. I could even drag this frame up, although I don't think that's a good area to design with. Or what I could do is I could just drag this one halfway across and this one halfway across and use the space there. So let's just have a look at filling one of these in. So the first thing that you need to do is know what area you're working on. So if I look up at the top, mine was why do we have day and night? So you'll need to know what topic you're working on in your group. Once you've done that, you might decide how are you going to split it up. So you'll see in mine I've asked a question first of all, why do we have day and night? And then I've started to split it up to answer. Now you could answer on just 1 or 2 of these. You see I've used 3 different frames to answer. That's up to you. So once you've decided on the area that you're working on, then you'll need to decide what am I going to do in frame 1, what am I going to do in frame 2, what about 3 and what about 4, or however many frames you've got. So let's just jump back to this one. So let me show you how we can add some different things to here. So the first thing I want is a background. So I'm going to type space background. Now you can see I've already typed it, so I'm just going to click on it and it brings these up. Now some of these won't fit. So this one, for example, is a square. And all I can do is make it a bigger square or a smaller square. It won't fit a rectangle. So I'm going to click it, click the bin, and it will go away. Others, like this one, when I put them on the screen, I can actually use these little lines here, which will make it exactly fit the space that I want, which is great. So I might want to use this one. Now, there are some of these you've got to be a bit careful with. Like this one looks really cool. It's animated, and you'll notice that some of mine have got moving parts on here. So we've got some moving parts. But this one's different because it's a moving background. And the problem with this is when I put it on the screen, all I can do is put the background on. It won't let me put any writing on it. It won't let me put anything else on the screen over the top of that. So that's not really a good choice. I'm going to take that off. So I've started with my background, and now I'm going to show you how to put some other things on the screen as well. Now I want to put a character on this page, and I just want to show you something that you need to be aware of. So if I choose this girl and click on it, you'll see I've searched in elements for girl, and if I drag this one on the page, you see it just takes up everything, and I can't see the background, and I can't make it any smaller. So I'm going to go to undo up here and press this undo button again, and what I'm going to do is drag and put her somewhere else, like there, so she's not in one of the comic frames, and then I'm going to make her smaller, and then I can put her in the frame and make her smaller so that she fits where I want her to go. Now let me show you another trick. If I get a different one, say for example this one, so again I'm not going to put her there, I'm going to put her here and make her a bit smaller. But let's say I don't want the full body, I just want it from, say, the waist up. I can crop this picture. So I'm going to move her over here, and then I'm going to go up here where it says crop and click it, and then I'm just going to drag this up like this and then click done, and then it will chop that bit of the picture, and then I can put her there so that I can only still see the top part. So now let's have a look at some speech bubbles. So I'm going to come over here, and again I'm going to search for speech bubble. Now the problem with the speech bubbles is that you can't make them longer or taller, you can only make them bigger one way. So I'm just going to get a speech bubble and put the speech bubble on here so it's ready to put my text in. So now I'm ready to put in the message that I want to put in my speech bubble. Okay, so you can see that I'm ready now to put in some information in this speech bubble. I've just changed this template up here to say all about Mars. I'm going to write about Mars. So I need to come down to text and click on text. And there's a number of different things I can do. I can click add a speech box, but I'm just going to click this one that says add a little bit of body text. And if I click it, it just puts it here. And I want to write, let me tell you all about Mars. Now what I can do now is I can drag this and move it down and then get hold of this line at the end and just resize it. Now it's black and it doesn't really fit nicely in my speech bubble, so I'm just going to click and highlight the text and come up here, and I think what I need to do is I'll keep it black, but I need to make it smaller. So I can make it smaller by clicking the minus button, or I can just do it quickly by just clicking on this button that says 14 here, and I can move that in there, and then I can make the changes that I want. I can change the font and things like that. So that's how I can add some text onto the page. Now what I'm going to do is go back to elements, and I want a picture of Mars. So I've not actually searched for this before. So I'm just going to put Mars in here, and then you can see I've got some images of Mars that come in here, including this one that's animated. Now I can put that one on if I want to. I can keep looking down at all these amazing pictures down here. So I'm just going to choose one and pop this on the screen. So like I say, I could use this, the animated one here. In fact, let's do that. Let's put that on the screen, and you'll see it'll come out and it's too big. What you also notice is that it's taking up space, it's in front of other things. So that's not going to be too much of a problem if I pop it over here. But if I wanted it bigger, I might want it to go behind my speech bubble there. So if I click on it once, or if I, let me just click away, if I right click on it or two finger tap on a Chromebook, I can choose this button that says send backwards. And now you'll notice it's behind the speech bubble. So you can move things backwards and forwards in layers, so they are in front of something or behind something. So that's how you can actually layer the pictures that go onto your page. Now I just wanted to show you this on this page. You'll see that I've gone to elements and search for caption, and then I can use some of these which I've dragged onto the screen and resized. So that is the space underneath my writing. If I move my writing out of the way, you'll see this. So I've dragged this onto the screen and I've made it bigger. And then what I've done is I've gone to my text like I did before and used the add a little bit of body text and pop that on the screen, and then move this so that it matches. So I've popped that on there. So sometimes you might want to put captions instead of having somebody actually saying something. You could also just have a speech bubble where there isn't a person there. You can make that work too. So you'll see I've put these planets on the screen here. So we've got the Sun, and then we've got Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. And we're saying that Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun. What I want to do is I only want half of this sun. I want it appearing on the side. Now you'll see I did this up here where I've got part of the planet on. So I can crop that. So I can click on it and then go to crop just like we did before, and then I can get rid of part of it there. So, and then just say done, and then I can move it over so it's right on the edge there. So I can use animated versions of these, like I use this picture of the sun here. But I want to show you these arrows as well. These are really cool. So I can move these around. So I might want a moving arrow pointing at Mars. So it's very simple that I come up here. Sorry, I've put Mars. I meant to put arrow. So I can put arrow in here. Oh, sorry. Again, another mistake. I've put it in the text area, and I need to be in elements, and you'll see you've got all these arrows in here. So I want a moving arrow. So if we move down, you'll see I've got arrows like this. So if I click on it, it will come on the screen, and if you look carefully, you've got this button here that you can rotate it. So let's make it a bit smaller. Let's move it over where I want it to be, and I want it to be pointing down at the sun. So if I click on this button here, I can turn it so that it's pointing down. Sorry, not at the sun. I want it pointing at Mars. So let's move it. Let's move Mars down. Let's move that out of the way. Move it down a little bit so that I can get that arrow pointing down at it. So you'll see as I move these down, by the way, you get these red lines that appear, and these are to make sure that everything is aligned, so it's all in line. So they're really, really useful. So let's move that there, and let's make this a bit. So you see, you just have to experiment with this to make sure that you can just change things as you need to. So I want that to say Mars, so I'm just going to go back here, and then I can add some writing. So let's get rid of this word arrow, and you can use some of these styles as well below that are below here, but you've just got to be careful that it matches your style of your design. So I'm just going to go here and click add a subheading, type in Mars, and then I can move that above this arrow. Now you'll see it'll disappear because it's black and my background's black. So I can just come change the colour. I think I might go for a bright yellow colour actually for this one. Or it should be red really, for Mars being the red planet, shouldn't it? But I'll leave it like that for now. So you can change yours. And then I could come here and I can change all the different styles of writing that I've got here. So you've got so many fonts coming down here. So you can click on these fonts and you can move it there. And then I can make the font smaller. I can even just drag the box in to make the font smaller. And then if I click somewhere away, let's move that over a little bit, then you'll see we've started to make this. So I can start, so I think that gives you quite a few ideas of what you can put on the page here. So you can start to build up your comic strip, and while you're working on one page, some of your friends can be working on a different page all at the same time. So when your group's happy with your design and you think you've finished, what you can do is you can save it. But just before I show you that, you can actually use this little button down here with the two arrows to click on that, and then that will make it full screen, so you can see your full screen design. Now mine is playing a bit like a video. You'll see I've got a timeline going at the bottom, and the reason for that is because I've got these animated things on it, so it's moving like a video. So we could download this and save this as a video if we want. If we go to share, then you can go to download, and at the moment it says video. So you can save it as a video. You could also save it as a standard comic. If I go to PDF standard or PDF print, one of these, that will save it as something you can print out. So obviously the images won't move if you save it as something to print out, but that means that you can share it. So what you can do is there are ways that you can make the link so you can share it so other people can click on the link and see it. And if your school uses Google Classroom and your teacher set an assignment, you can click on that and you can use that to hand your work in there as well.